Welcome, Godzilla fans, to the Godzilla podcast, where we talk about, or are talking about rather, today, Godzilla Singular Point. I'm Drew.
I'm Joe, and this is brought to you by...
Oh, no, you got it really good.
Dr. Pepper.
Specifically diet, since Joe likes the nasty stuff. That is possibly better for you?
It's definitely better for my... like glycogen in my bloodstream as far as spiking that is concerned, and
well, guys, if
possibly avoiding migraines.
If you didn't understand the 84 reference there, we're always sponsored by Dr. Pepper at all times, as well as Burt Reynolds.
Even if we're not drinking Dr. Pepper. We'll say we are.
Joe is. I'm always drinking water. Now, I searched up and down for caffeine in this household so that I have some energy. There's nothing. They don't even have any coffee.
And then it would be a 30-minute delay anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind hanging around for 30 minutes before you suddenly start feeling better. But
drank like a bucket of coffee yesterday. I got a large coffee, and you're right. It was about 20, 30 minutes where I was like, and now I am, tapping away.
Woo!
Anyway, guys, Godzilla Singular Point. This released, as of the time we're recording this, because we're going to make this, timely.
As timely as possible.
The Singular Point released about a month ago. I think it was like June 15th, sometime mid-June, and we're recording this end of July. And hey, you know what? We liked it. I did.
I enjoyed it a lot more than the last anime Netflix thing I saw from Godzilla.
And that was technically not a series. It's supposed to be a series. Ended up being three films.
Of movies.
Yeah. Well, let's just talk about this because I enjoyed it. Joe, did you understand much of it?
There was about a midway point where I realized I need to put my phone down and not look at it ever.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm watching the show, because I'm definitely missing something.
My problem was the reverse happened to me. I went into the show like I need to just sit and, watch this. I was actually watching it on my phone specifically so I couldn't get on my phone while watching it.
Nice.
And that was the first 8 episodes, so I got more of that. Dude, the last couple I watched on the TV out here, so much detailed science jargon talk was going on. I had to get on my phone because I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Show me a monster fight. Like, very fun. Did you look at much? Because
I didn't.
Written by a man who has a PhD in physics. The screenwriter.
Oh, no shit.
So yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't know if this is one of his first scripts, but that made a lot of sense when it's like, there's so much theoretical physics and just... It's all theoretical, but, where is science but theory until it's proven? Takes place in 2030, I think I was reading. I enjoyed the characters. It was unfortunate to me that it took till the very end for the main girl, the main guy, I think it's Yoon and Mei or Mai, to, I can't get them mixed up, Yu-Gi-Oh! Mai.
Yeah.
But I think it's Mei. They meet up at the final scene.
In person, as opposed to as opposed
to the texting,
the auto text,
and just trusting each other, being another symbol of them trusting Arashi or whatever. They're just, it's so, Joe. I mean, we're gonna maybe get deep here, but not being a religious person anymore, either of us. Did you find it interesting that they talked about prophecies? Because it's like, it connected to science, dude. Like, they just were putting their faith in something that's real, but not proven yet. Time and, oh my gosh, this show.
I don't know if I totally understand it. That's where we're stopping there.
I don't understand.
So, there is a loop of some kind going on.
Mm-hmm.
When we see at the beginning and at the end of the show.
Yep.
Spoilers.
We're
sort
of
spoilers
throughout the whole thing.
Not that you get it or that we get it.
Nope. Do you have a PhD in physics, the person listening to this? Maybe you understand it.
I guess if you know what's going to happen or what happened, then that would be a prophecy.
See?
If time travel, of course, is real.
Because they were just throwing around that word, prophecy, but it's like, this is all science-based, as in they were, it's theoretical science, but... Yeah, there's to simplify terms, prophecy.
Simplified terms with a show that has terms that include, what is it, the something diagonalizer?
Orthogonal diagonalizer.
Orthogonal diagonalizer.
Diagonalizer. Do you know OD? old oxygen destroyer, looks just like an oxygen destroyer. This show is so thick with references to past Godzilla series and just kaiju in general. It is, I mean, it's mind blowing. So you think on a surface level when you're watching this, oh, they're talking a lot of science jargon, and then when you start to scratch the surface about visual references, audio, script references, just like character names, so much is going on that is so deep in this show. It was very clearly made with a lot of love, and I'm actually really excited for the season 2 that maybe can develop some characters a little further.
Maybe. I would like to go over, for someone who hasn't watched it, the broad strokes.
Okay, very broad strokes.
Very broad strokes. There's some people involved with some sciencey stuff and some technology stuff. And this girl gets a call and they're like, hey, we don't know what this thing is. This alarm keeps going off, and she finds out that this song is playing from this thing. And it's a very, very old Showa era. I heard that. Yeah. It's a very old, like, sort of sounding 1960s Mothra-esque song, right? And they're not quite sure what's going on with it. And they're trying to figure it out. There's some sort of mathematical puzzle having to do with it. And, so obviously I don't understand the plot very well. And then these Rodans.
Yeah, Rodans.
Start showing up. And they're not like full-size Rodans. They're actually just like pterodactyls or whatever the equivalent is. That just start showing up out of nowhere. No one's seen them before. And then they start like terrorizing people. And then these other scientist guys who are with the robotics, a very small ma and pa shop, robotics factory.
But they're way ahead of, other people and stuff, especially Yoon. Okay, one of the main things I love about this show, and this will introduce his character because he's May's counterpart. This guy created an AI. Like, it's something that grows and has seeming sentience. I've never seen in a television series or movie an AI that is wholly helpful. There's so much bleak AI singularity stuff, not talking singular point, which has to do with time, but a singularity is when a learning computer gains sentience. The most pop culture reference would be Age of Ultron, and you see what happens there. But like, this thing is basically sentient, and it helps them the whole time. I found that brilliant because I was like, it's actually helpful AI. It may not be fully sentient, but it sure seems smart enough to be. And May and Yoon have those, separate versions of it going on, and he's smart enough to have that. So they're way ahead of their time.
He works for the Otaki factory, the robot factory. Anyway, these Rodans start showing up, and they happen to have a certain machine. A certain, I don't know, what do you call those? A mech suit machine?
Yeah.
Called Jet Jaguar. Punch, punch, punch. Yep. And Jet Jaguar, of course, they use it to fight off the Rodans. But then other creatures start showing up. One that looks like Anguirus. Another one that I didn't recognize as a creature I've seen before.
There was a Titanosaurus reference that had a different name. Manda Kumonga, that's way different.
It was like the ogre-looking one, like the big...
Bear... Not Bear... Yeah, I think it's Bear... No, not Baragon. Gabara. But it ends up being something different. Like Gabara from the movie that you hate with the little kid, the dream monster. He has the same face. Green with the horns.
Oh, that guy doesn't look like that thing at all.
I'm talking... You're talking the one that comes out... that they kill.
It's the one that's
times.
Like, yeah, the one they kill several times.
That's the one that's based off Baragon, but they gave a different name. Because if you look at his face, it's like yellow-green with these horns.
Okay, I'm going to have to look at a side-by-side picture. Because this isn't the only, like, monster change that's crazy, and I didn't really... I got Anguirus when he showed up. I was like, that's Anguirus. And then the next guy showed up, I'm like, they made that shit up. And then I wasn't sure when Godzilla finally did show up in this show.
Yeah.
If that was Godzilla when I first saw it.
It's because there was three
until
forms
the music was like...
When it very, very first showed up, and I don't even think it showed off the full body, his Aqualus form, dude, it looks like Varon. so cool. The face, I was like, that's Vara, and then it gets all crusted and turns into the Terrestrialis, something like that form. That's the one that was smaller, shown off for a little while, and then we got the Ultima form. But yeah. Pretty sure that's what happened. There's a lot that happens in this show.
And when they start showing up, these characters are trying to solve this music, mathematical time puzzle.
There's a professor that came before them who left all these clues and was just like so ahead of his time that the notebooks full of notes that Arashi was the professor's name made look like the writings of an insane person, because they're like, nobody can interpret this, and everybody just wrote it off as like, this isn't even science, but it turns out it's just extremely deep science.
It's extreme science.
I want to sing the weird science thing.
And so, because they're realizing that animals are coming from a different time, and they're going to have to destroy them by using time, using things like the machine, like the MacGuffin machine, the
Shiva is what it's called.
There's the Shiva.
Oh, but you're talking about orthogonal
diagonalizer.
And then there's also
which is
Tello too.
Way more complicated than any other MacGuffin machine name in this entire series. Orthogonal diagonalizer. Orthogonal diagonality or whatever is real. I looked that up, but just to add an ER at the end of that thing, just to shoot my brain out every time I hear that word. Oh, it's hilarious. It's great.
Much as Joe stated earlier.
Orthogonal diagonalizer. We must use the orthogonal diagonalizer on the creature.
This show's deep. I'll just say that much. It had a lot of great kaiju references. Visually, it was really good. So to nitpick, where overall I love it. I think it's really good. Character design, great. Monster design, just great. And, the interaction. I didn't ever really care for like the backgrounds at all. It was just totally fine. So in contrast to how cool I think the character designs were, I guess you could consider Jet Jaguar a character. He basically was. It was just
once it becomes sentient, of course.
Yeah. And then it becomes like baby sentient.
Little
Jet
girl
Jaguar,
sentient,
PP, yeah.
And all I could think was, because you were talking about movies with AI,
I
was thinking of Her with Scarlett Johansson. And there was a moment where I was like, because I was watching the English dub.
Wait, is Her
and
AI,
I was going,
or is that like an alien? I've seen that film and
AI.
I just assumed,
it's an AI computer thing.
I didn't know it was an AI. I thought it was like this alien.
Then it gets sentience with all the other ones, and they're like, we're going to another place, and then they all disappear.
Oh, sorry. I got Her mixed up with the one where she is like an alien.
Oh,
I got those. Oh,
those are way different movies.
No, I know, but I've seen both, and so Under the Skin.
Under the Skin.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I like Her.
Under the Skin.
But see, and that's the thing is, to our knowledge,
all I could I really wish this was Scarlett Johansson voice and not this voice that I'm hearing right now. It was starting to grate on my ears by the end, but that's just the English dub. I hope it's better in other languages.
Yeah, and I mean they're both available, on Netflix. You can watch it in Japanese with subtitles, but I felt okay going into it with the I think you get the Japanese translated subtitles on either, because on English dubs the actual like subtitles never match up with the dialogue.
Yeah.
I was told pretty early on, because there was some people who watched Singular Point before it came on to like generally American English audiences, and they said it's fine. They said the English one, they did a great job of translating what otherwise is some really, really deep technical stuff and some very just like nuanced. It would be very difficult to dub this show, and apparently they did a good job according to a lot of people. But I liked it. I wish that some characters were more fleshed out, I guess, only because like what you see. So I gained more from the visuals from characters, like especially Yoon, than what they said, because he does some heroic stuff in his face. He's got, a lot of expression. And so, but mostly the dialogue, man, is science babble.
Yeah, a lot of it. I agree.
And it's them being very smart and coming to conclusions. And like, the whole thing is they're both so smart, Mei and Yoon, that they bring the plot forward. But the whole time I'm like, oh, okay, Sure. Yeah, does it bring us to the next step of the story? Great. Like, I don't know how we got there.
I think the only reason that we didn't turn our brains off is because there was always momentum going constantly on in the story, that despite the fact that like 80% of the dialogue was technical jargon that you could only kind of understand, and these characters are a little bit flat. There's some like there's some character moments here and there, but yeah, there's nothing really like there's nothing really that's pulling you in emotionally, but what is pulling you in is the situation that they have to solve. So it does work dramatically enough to keep the series going. I do think it's slogged in the middle of the show with like 4 or 5 episodes, but
that's where I had a hard time pressing forward. I watched the first 8 maybe 2 weeks ago, and then I really didn't have a desire to finish it, but then I'm like, we got to watch.
But then Godzilla shows up.
Oh, exactly. It was like I stopped at the episode where the one that looks like Varon, which I'm pretty sure turns into middle form Godzilla, comes on land, and I'm like, okay, this is a good place to stop. Thinking I was on the last episode. I really had like 4 or 5 left, but yeah, it picks up at the end. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it as well. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's like amazing. Like, it didn't blow me away, but I enjoyed it a lot. I thought the creature designs were cool. I thought Godzilla, it's obviously for Godzilla, it's very Shin Godzilla based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because like forms.
Multiple forms and like kind of this weird, just the weirdness around it, honestly.
Creepy.
It's creepy. Yeah. And then his he's not as powerful, it looks like, as the Shin Godzilla one, but he did have like the crazy laser beam atomic breath. That Shin Godzilla has.
It looks really cool.
Shin Godzilla's like took out a bunch of buildings. This one just burned through things. So obviously Shin Godzilla would win in a fight, but really good Godzilla at the end.
We'll see, because confirmed season 2 for Shin Godzilla, or not Shin Godzilla, rather Godzilla season 2 of a movie, season 2 of Singular Point. They said, I mean, the whole point of them preventing the catastrophe, Joe, is that Godzilla was supposed to be capable of destroying the universe. So, like, not just the Earth or not just that city.
Maybe he has more forms.
Yeah, exactly. And
he's not as big so far as Planet of the Monsters, right?
No.
That one was just like massive Godzilla. What did they call that Godzilla? Do you remember?
Godzilla Planet Godzilla or something.
The Godzilla Planet.
The one that, took over the world. But specifically, in reading up some stuff about the series, the producers or the people who pitched it, and especially the guy who wrote it, really wanted, instead of brute force to beat Godzilla, he wanted the characters to defeat Godzilla with their wits. And so understanding that helped me a little bit in the show. Like, I learned that after watching it, but I'm like, okay, they just leaned really hard into that, where they were using their mind to defeat him, to come up with like solutions.
I like that. I didn't think about that. So, because I'm thinking back to 54, and that's kind of how they did with 54. Same thing with Shin Godzilla's third act. That's how they kind of did it there.
You have to be
They didn't have
wit.
They didn't have an opposite monster or an opposite giant robot to attack him. They did in this, but it was only for the very last moment. And after that robot becomes sentient through like the AI switching over through time dealio. So you get like monster versus monster fight for just a little bit to satisfy that crowd. But yes, this is really a character-based Godzilla film, which there aren't enough in this series. So I do appreciate that. That's obvious now that you said that. That's what I said,
that
right?
I was like, they just leaned really hard into it, because it is just, it's so cerebral, guys. I mean, not. It's just people talking through stuff through a lot of it, and what helps is all the different monsters and showing off some pretty cool stuff with the monsters. And every time there's a Jet Jaguar fight, I was having fun, but I don't know, not the deepest character stuff for sure. It was like great, the old man who was constantly being quippy and like bullheaded, and he's gonna save the world. He said that from the very beginning, which was so funny. That and again, guys, just don't listen to this unless you've already watched it, unless you really don't care about spoilers. But from the
haven't given away the ending, which we don't understand totally.
The very first introduction of his Jet Jaguar robot, he's like, he's the protector of the Earth. He really was. Like, he really ends up being that.
That's true.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I did ask on Twitter and on Discord. I asked a little late, but there were a couple of people who responded.
And it seemed like for the most part, people are very similar opinions.
So people have given their thoughts. I got 3 tweets on Twitter here. This from Hot Kaiju. Loved it. My favorite Reiwa Godzilla and top 5G iteration. Wow. I love the science and the classic music cues, even though they did my spiky boy dirty.
Anchorus, yeah, it was only there like an episode, maybe an episode and a half. Speaking of not just music cues, but sound cues, I love that they used original monster cries and growls, because like that was great for Rodan from the very beginning. I was like, it's just the Rodan I know. Like, just use. You don't need to come up with a new one or come up with different ones. Just use that.
Yeah,
that's all. And it was perfect.
Might be able to I think they probably have redone them over the years, and then like Heisei and stuff like that. Because what is it? It's like it's like an instrument way detuned, and you're like going against the strings.
That was at least like that, Godzilla's, right? But I don't know about.
But now that someone said that, I can hear like the music strings in it, like being I've messed with shit on a guitar. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm swearing so much in this thing. Yeah. I've messed with like my guitar and stuff like that to make it sound like Ed Garrison crap. I'm like, there's crap you could do to make it. Yeah.
I'll get the next cult Bucky O'Hare enthusiast. Bucky O'Hare. I just thought it was great to see so much color in Godzilla again. Very vibrant and lively. It was like a Ghibli level of colors. I can't remember which person did it. It was either the creature design or the human design, but one was handled by like pretty much second in command at Studio Ghibli, a very high up artist in Studio Ghibli designed, I believe, the monsters. So Ghibli levels of color.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a reason why. Because he comes directly from Studio Ghibli.
I want more color. If I'm going to work on this, I want more color.
Yeah, I want him to be different. Also, I like the characters, particularly Mei and the AI, but wow, I need a theoretical physics degree to be able to understand half of what they said. It was great. The interactions between Mei and Pello too, the AI. He was so cute, and if anyone here is also a Marvel fan, it just is the most ridiculous thing that they just aired the final season of Loki, and we're just getting such similar stuff with multiverses, timelines, endless variants, dimensions upon dimensions. I'm like, that's where pop media is going right now, I guess, because with Marvel driving the way, you can have infinite variations of one character and have it all seemingly be canon. It's a gold mine
due
for
to the time traveling in that show, huh?
Yeah, because
or in that series. Yep. Thomas Kelly says, I thought it was great. Science talk was a little much, but the action scenes perfectly captured what I thought was happening when watching the Showa era movies as a kid.
It's a great way of describing it.
Hype kaiju anime battles.
Yeah, I've gotten more used to and enjoyed the blend of 3D animation where that was the monsters in this. They're always at a different frame rate, weirdly. You ever notice that? I totally noticed it in Godzilla Planet, whatever.
Yeah.
They move differently. They're being like tweaked, and they're at a slightly different rate than other characters. They're probably both being made in the computer, but there was traditional animation for characters, at least in this, more so than everything was done 3D in Planet Earth.
Well, I don't know what the practice is now in the last like 10 years with animation. I really don't. Someone would have to talk about it. But when I'm seeing those lines on around people and stuff, like they're way too smooth and they don't.
Okay, when I say traditional animation, perhaps I say now like non-3D integrated.
They do 2D animation in the computer now.
Yep, exactly. So that has become traditional animation, because otherwise,
as opposed to doing multiple scans of something and with that specialty camera that blends all the different things together. It's not. I don't believe they do cell work anymore, but I have no idea. Don't quote me on this.
I was about to say don't quote either of us. What it'd be is that just don't quote us.
I have no idea. I had to ask someone because I had an idea for a TV show, and I was like, hey man, how do they do this now? And he basically said, they all do it. And like, you're drawing it, but you're drawing it in, according to him, you're drawing it in the computer with one of those tablet things. So it's still the human hand behind it, but it is immediately digital.
Yep.
So it's different.
You got to.
It's just different.
You gonna read the Discord?
Yeah, I'm gonna read the Discord. I sure am. We only had one response in the Discord. Join the Discord, guys.
Join Twitter. We're more interactive there.
I'm the opposite. I talk all day on the Discord and occasionally hop on the Twitter. The D of J says it wasn't terrible, but it definitely needed more substance. The characters were kind of bland, save for the old man, and a lot of the plot gets lost in the techno babble. The new interpretations of the monsters were interesting though, and that song is pretty catchy. So I'm seeing between like the 5 responses we had there, I'm seeing some trends. I'm seeing some definite trends there. So everybody likes the music. Everybody thinks the characters need a little bit of work. A lot of people get lost in the technical stuff. I agree with all those.
And we'll see what in the world happens for a season 2, but my hope is less techno stuff. Like, do it half the time, but the other half, come on, let's have some character stuff going on. Usually, even if it's not among the main characters in the show or in a Godzilla series or movie, you see more panicked people. And there was some of it in here, mostly in like 2 times when they get trapped by Rodan in a building, and then they get trapped by I guess they'd be considered Kumongas, but they're kind of like crab-like. There's just not a lot of like people in fear, I guess, running away. It's mostly people
They got out of the city.
Oh, very quickly.
Very, very quickly.
Yeah, it was good. I'm not bagging on it, but I don't think it's something that I would probably revisit much later, as like right now, my brain needs a rest.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
That's my opinion.
So that was a quick first impressions on that show.
It's what's difficult, Joe. I was thinking about it before I get on here. If you really love something, let's praise it to, if you really don't like something, you got things to say, just hit some middle line for me. Or like, yeah, it's good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. What am I supposed to say about that?
I enjoyed it, but I didn't understand it enough to go into the technical details, so. Yeah. But it's fine because the movie or the show pulled you along emotionally so that you didn't necessarily need to know every single thing that was going on in order to be intrigued in it.
If you guys do happen to go on Twitter and you're really into this show, like really loving it, wanting to know more, please be sure to follow on Twitter Kyoei Toshi. That's Kyoei Toshi, Toshi. But they are a part of the, I believe, Monsters vs. Men podcast. I don't know if they're full-time with them. But the level of detail that they're going into specific scenes, things they say, it's ridiculous, the layers of references in the show, and they detail them very, very precisely. So,
I can't believe there was a Jet Jaguar, and I liked it.
You don't like original Jet Jaguar? Not even ironically?
I like to... Ironically, maybe.
Okay.
Ironically, maybe.
I actually like original Jet Jaguar.
I hate that movie deeply. Oh. It's one of my least favorite Godzilla movies to watch. It's Megalon.
Okay.
Megalon's a tough one. Megalon and Gigan and All Monsters Attack are the ones that I just can't stand.
I guess I have younger nieces and nephews, and so to me it's like I get to watch a Godzilla movie, and that's a joy to me. And I'd put on that one because there's some blood, but
there's topless women in the background. And, there's Playboy shots of the truck. Yeah, we could deal with a boobie.
Antonio the Emperor.
They can handle it.
But yeah, I non-ironically really love Jet Jaguar, and it's funny that again some research into the show. Initially, people were not the people who were producing it. There was a push to put Jet Jaguar in it, and they're like, we really don't want to. And the fact that he became such a big part of it is just amazing. And actually, not just the biggest part, because he was a solution to everything that happened. Yeah.
So this is the third animated Godzilla thing, right?
You're talking
Hanna-Barbera, Godzilla the series 1998.
Mm-hmm.
Then this one.
Yeah, series-wise.
Yeah, there was television series.
Before this in Japan, I looked it up. There was
Godzilla Island.
But it was hand puppets and garbage. And we have to finish it.
Yeah, this was all written by one guy, To Enjo.
Yeah, and a PhD in physics, man.
Yeah, that's pretty hefty. 13 episodes, 20 minutes each. That's a lot of writing.
Well, he's just basically I'm sure that his specialty was theoretical physics, and probably grabbed a lot out of his own dissertations. Let's just take this chunk of it, spread that out to make 3 or 4 episodes.
The animation studio's Bones and the animation studio Orange.
I really enjoyed the character of May, whichever. I watched this series very quickly.
It's May.
Thank you. The reason I get it mixed up because we're Yu-Gi-Oh fans. My Valentine, but May. Okay, May.
Fans is a word you throw around very. I was definitely a fan when I was a kid.
Joe,
I have been watching animated
snobbish ways.
I have been watching anime shows in Spanish for the last year, including rewatching Yu-Gi-Oh in Spanish.
Are you just trying to learn Spanish? You're like,
yeah, true. Come on,
make it a painful.
What are you talking about? No, it's not painful on myself. I'll tell you about it later. But it's not good. It's like I was rewatching that first series of Yu-Gi-Oh. I just remember in the first episode.
I enjoy the drama. I made it through almost the end of Duelist Kingdom, the Pegasus arc. Okay, you guys.
That's what I made it through as a kid.
Yeah.
That was it. And then I got 5 episodes into
the Battle City
one with the wrist guards, the iconic wrist guards. And
dual discs, my man.
Dual discs, I'm sorry. I have one of those, by the way.
Destroy your freaking cards.
So awesome. Yeah, if you want to destroy your actual Yu-Gi-Oh cards, well, do go ahead and play it on there. I made it about that far into it, and that's when I officially outgrew cartoons. So you can tell whenever that season started, that's when I said I will not watch cartoons anymore as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old. And
you stopped at 10 or 11?
I did.
I didn't realize I did a podcast with such a strange human being.
And I would make fun of my friend Dylan for continuing to watch SpongeBob past that point, I think.
My own wife makes fun of me for watching what she dubs cartoons.
Yeah.
It's actually anime, and I watch cartoons.
Yeah, I have a lot of internal conflicts and conflicting things in my life, for sure. I do host a Godzilla podcast, true. It's not like I gave away. It's not like I left childhood behind and kicked it as I was walking away.
Sure, making it sound like a joke. Kicked it in spite on the ground, kicking in the ribs.
No, yeah. So I watched it. That first episode, they make like a handshake. They make a.
If you guys couldn't already tell, we're gonna keep talking here for a minute. Just go away if you don't care.
They make they put a mark on all their hands when they put it in a circle. Yeah, it's like a weird smiley face.
Yeah, that's an actual card.
No joke. It goes. They make the smiley face. Commercial break. 5 to 8 minute scene has a flashback to them making the thing that happened right before the last commercial break.
Joe,
where they go, remember that friendship symbol just 5 seconds ago? And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, this show is terrible.
Joe, are you accusing a children's animated series of using filler? That was
happened. The first episode of this show, Drew.
So as an adult, how I watch a series like that? Because you can watch stuff like, have you ever heard of Hunter x Hunter, heard of My Hero Academia? That stuff I can watch like intensely because it's good, like One Punch Man. But if you're going to go and rewatch Yu-Gi-Oh!, be doing something at the same time. Your phone, playing a video game, but like don't watch it. Have it on in the background, and when something interesting starts happening, this is when I tune in.
Drew, I've been studying Spanish for 2 years.
All right,
and
so
I started watching.
You're watching it too intensely as an adult.
I do have to watch it and know what's happening
to get the Spanish. Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry,
or try to. The Yu-Gi-Oh is actually kind of hard. Everybody talks really fast. Like there's so much information and there's so many things, and like that the speed at which they're doing it. I didn't realize how fast that show was moving until I watched it in Spanish. Pokemon's really easy. Dragon Ball is really easy.
I was just about to say.
And I watched the entirety of Dragon Ball. Just finished it.
OG Dragon Ball.
OG Dragon Ball. Nice. Got to Z. I'm on episode 10 of Z. It's way better than Dragon Ball. I don't know. Those people that say that Dragon Ball is better than Z, I think they're crazy.
It's because you watched to the end of Dragon Ball when it became a fighting anime. Didn't really intend to become that. So the beginning part of Dragon Ball better than the end.
The first 4 seasons of Dragon Ball, I wanted to blow my brains out.
Oh my God, Joe. if you're going to become a Dragon Ball fan, we can watch the next movie in theaters together, because I saw the last Dragon Ball Z movie in theaters, and I just went alone. Yes! I have a friend in Dragon Ball!
I have like 90 more hours before I finish Dragon Ball GT and Super.
Don't watch this GT.
Everybody says that, but it's short. There's not that many episodes, and I'm trying to get...
I haven't seen all GT.
Here's what it is. I was studying Spanish with the flashcards and then like testing it out on people. I was doing like the normal thing that people say you're supposed to do and like studying grammar. Throw that stuff out. Throw it out.
Watch some TV shows.
Because I found this guy named Stephen Krashen.
Okay.
Who came up with the language acquisition hypothesis in the 1970s. And what it basically says is that language classes are a waste of time. The way that they're teaching languages in college, which of course, because I took, a year and a half worth of Japanese, right?
Yeah.
No, very little Japanese. Despite that, right? But if I was a year and a half in Japan, I would have known way more Japanese.
Immersing yourself in it.
Sure. It really is about self-immersion. So there's what he said basically is that, or what they researched out, is that the number one factor is reading, and then that's followed by intense listening. So, and listening to things that you can understand. So watching kids' TV shows where you understand the context, your brain is hearing those sounds, and they start hearing those sounds, and it starts like breaking apart the words subconsciously. Basically, this is what they think is going on, and then it's figuring out meaning based upon context. So the best way to learn a language is just reading and listening. So the reading's easier if it's a language that uses our alphabet, obviously. Yeah. If you have to do another language, then you have to learn the entire alphabet or memorize all this kanji or whatever in Japanese, and then you start reading and listening. And it's just 100% reading and listening, and then when you get to a certain degree of that, start speaking. I do have a Spanish tutor I talk to once a week. And it's just about...
motivated man.
It's just about hours. And so my goal for Spanish is the hours that they put up for the foreign service, the U.S. Foreign Service, for how long it takes to quote unquote learn a language through their system. 725 hours. I have 280 hours left as of like 2 days ago. I don't know what exactly it's at right now, but I just plug it in a spreadsheet. Is what I do. I read half an hour of Spanish. I read it on Link, which is a really good site. And then for reading in another language, because it like auto dictionary, you just click on a word and it tells you everything. And then you save those words and they're highlighted in yellow. But the other words that you know, you just click on the next page and it becomes part of your known words. It's a really good site. So I read there for 30 minutes and then I watch 1 hour of Dragon Ball, or if the freaking Dragon Ball site in Spanish, the piratey Dragon Ball site, where these kids put every single Dragon Ball thing in Spanish. If that site is being a pill, then I hop onto Netflix and I watch Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's freaking hilarious that you're learning Spanish from Dragon Ball, because it is
easier.
It's a cultural phenomenon there. Like when Super was still airing with new episodes, Dragon Ball Super, they treat it like UFC matches. Like it is huge, just MMA, whatever down there. So when I saw the last Dragon Ball film in theaters, I went alone. There was a handful of other adult males like me. You want to know what I'd say 2/3 of the whole theater was packed with, and the theater was packed for this Dragon Ball movie? Hispanic families.
Nice.
It was just like people love Dragon Ball.
My favorite thing, dude, there's like, they must say it cannot be, or that can't be right, or no. Like they must say all that, like, because the amount of times I've heard in Dragon Ball, no puede ser. It's not become like something crazy will happen, and the next line is always, no puede ser. Like it can't be.
Oh, yeah.
It can't be.
Next transformation, the next thing happening.
Yeah, but Dragon Ball kicked into awesome mode. I was hating it, dude. Not hating it, but I was like rolling my eyes. I'm like, why do people like this thing?
It's a gag anime until it became a fighting anime.
And it got kind of boring plot wise in season 3 and 4. But then season 5 kicks in, where like it's like the Native American guy gets killed, and then Goku decides to try to save him by getting all the Dragon Balls, and then it has that crazy guy who's like really murderous. The assassin
guy
that
flies on logs.
Yeah, the guy who flies on logs. That's when the show got good for me. It started there, and then each season got better. And now it's just Dragon Ball Z. Now it's like a totally different tonally. It's a totally different show. And I'm like, but then I started watching YouTube videos when I was almost done. I was like, because season 9 is huge. So in the middle of season 9, I started looking up like things like Dragon Ball versus Dragon Ball Z. Because, I'm gearing up for Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. And every single video I clicked on was like, oh, the original Dragon Ball. It really was, when the show was at its best, was so innocent and funny and haha. And I'm just like, what are you guys or what is everybody smoking? It's so the second half of Dragon Ball is way better than the first half, and it's continuing to be better in Dragon Ball Z so far. Yep. I don't know who in the world would put that first season of Dragon Ball up to anybody. In fact, it was like gross and creepy with the
That's funny.
Maestro Roshi character getting all like
creepy on Bulma.
Getting all creepy. Let me tell you, on this website, dude, you can tell what they censored on Latin TV.
Yeah,
because or on Latino television, they show. Because they'll just play it in Latino, but then suddenly the characters will start speaking in Japanese.
Oh.
And so that's when the pervy shit happens. So so the people who made this website, or at least put the videos up,
were like, we're just not gonna.
They put the old ones, they just sliced in, because they're like, oh, it needs to be pure. They sliced in the stuff that was cut. And honestly, I'm like, I think it might have needed to be cut. I don't think it's very good. There was one thing that made me laugh, is when Master Roshi is flushed down the toilet when he's like that part made me laugh pretty hard. That was like one of the moments in the first 3 seasons that made me laugh really hard when he's being pervy, is that part. But the rest of them were uncomfortable for me. I was just like, she's a teenager and he's a weird old man, like, ugh. Speaking of anime, it's slightly on the topic of Godzilla. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, you're good. I'm just excited you're getting into Dragon Ball, because I love Dragon Ball.
I really dug the last 4 seasons of the original Dragon Ball. I really did.
Good.
And I realized everybody else's kind of way of getting into the series was through Z, and then they went back to Dragon Ball. Mm-hmm. So that might taint someone's view of things. Obviously, I started Dragon Ball Z, and I gotta be honest, like, I don't know how anybody could understand what's going on.
It was just kind of, you just take it as it is from the very beginning of Z. Like, it starts in a place where, okay, these are somewhat established characters, but I can get on board here.
Well, my thing is, like, Goku immediately dies, right, in Dragon Ball Z, and he goes to, like, a heaven place, and he's on... At the moment, he's just running on this, and he's been doing this for 6 episodes now. He's been just running
like
on a path.
Serpent's Path
and
or whatever.
What I would think if I were watching that for the first time, starting there, it'd be like, I don't give a crap about this guy. What is this guy? Why do I care that he's on this serpent thing?
It's freaking Goku.
Yeah, but he dies immediately. He's the father of the kid that we're following more.
Wait, are you saying you don't care about him? He sacrificed himself for his child.
I care about him because I watched all of Dragon Ball.
If I had watched Z and watched him sacrifice himself for his child, I'd be caring about him a little bit.
Yeah, but it might be hard to like get from context that like.
And also, Goku's just a likable guy,
super powerful or whatever. But I guess like at the beginning, that Raditz guy does see him and sees that he's powerful. Also, my Spanish. Screwed me over, my lack of it, when the Raditz guy was
Raditz guy, it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure it's Goku's brother, man.
Yeah, when that Raditz guy was
his freaking nephew
following after him, he was like calling him Kakarot, and I was so confused. So confused. I'm like, what is going on? I thought that he was calling himself. Was his name Kakarot? Like, I had no idea.
You'll start getting the vegetable and food puns. Vegeta, Frieza, and his brother Cooler.
They're slightly different in Spanish, so we'll see. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Anyway, guys, I'm seeing now that we're actually peaking a lot. I should have checked the levels. So if this episode was a little distorted when you were listening to it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I've been watching down here, and it seemed like we hadn't been, but maybe we were.
No. It was in the recording. We were, because I had the input level up kind of high. But anyway.
We'll get it. Our brains. So, guys, the end part of this review of Godzilla Singular Point, or at least our first impressions, our brains had to revert to something simpler and more like fun. Because, like, Singular Point is fun, but it is a whole lot. So, like, that's our brains going to something that's also enjoyable anime, but much simpler.
Yeah.
I think Singular Point may age well. As a series, I'm hoping that they course correct in the next season to be more story driven, less sciencey driven. Mm-hmm. And then at that point you go, okay, so you get the first 13 episodes of the first season to get all that, set up and blah, blah, blah. And then it gets to something that, makes it more palatable.
We do have, by the way, we hit a Patreon goal, and we now have Godzilla, the animated series from the 70s, which I had to go onto a crazy site to get. I might have said this last time, but I'm just letting you guys know now.
Yeah, I don't think you have.
We got it. It really has both seasons of the animated series. I
didn't know if
someone
ever been
taped
released.
it from Cartoon Network, the little Cartoon Network symbols in the corner.
Oh,
and
as long as we have it.
They printed the DVD for me on this website. It's like backtotheeightiesdvds.com or something like that. So that's a resource for you. Sumo Gorilla, by the way, defunct now. I looked on there.
Oh, I bet you Samurai DVD too. They're still around.
They're still around.
Okay.
But they didn't have the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla series, I'll be honest. So, but we will be able to watch it. We will be able to watch it. Thank you guys who support the show.
Thank you so much. Again, this won't charge you. It's just our episodes,
it's just a bonus.
Commentaries. The next one coming up is going to be on Japanese version of 2000, which Joe and I enjoyed. Spoilers. I mean, we like 2000 American version, but we'll get a little more in depth on that and some differences. So,
all right, guys. Adios.
Oh, keep it G.